Test, test, test. There we go. Alrighty. As we wait to hear that back. What else? I said Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach, right? And test, test, test. There we go. There we go. All right, it's working now. Yeah, I don't know why. Don't know why. It's just for some reason it flips to whatever default is, and default apparently never is my mic. And so I just need to remember to check that every time. I normally do, because you can see the thing, the mic volume. You can see it going up and down while I'm talking. And I just did not do that today. All right, so that explains that. My financial content is right below the Oak Island playlist, and you'll see the Ramsey Show Aftershow show playlist and the Answering Your Financial Questions with Ramsey Solutions Certified Coach Steve Money. That would be me on here. That's the weekend stream, or sometimes at night if I can't do an after show. I will do an 8 p.m. stream, and that's the Answering Your Financial Questions one. The music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, including such hits as You Belong Debt Free. You Belong Debt Free. Shout out to T Swizzle there. Very happy to be giving her a cent or two towards her $1 billion. Cool, cool, cool. Market report. Boop, boop, boo doo. NASDAQ in the Russell Small Cap Index. It's Russell 2000. Those are up, so 0.22, 0.71. But the Dow down 0.76%. So after it went up to a new high yesterday or the day before, I don't know. Time runs together. Yeah, so I guess this was the new high on the 12th, and that was 2 days ago. All right, yeah. And then so yesterday it went down, and today it's going down more. And of course, S&P and NASDAQ went down as well the past few days. But now NASDAQ barely even there, kind of even, working out on it. But as I told somebody in the Ramsey Show chat today, that it's a good week to probably ignore the market. Because you know why? Because what we're not doing, we're not day trading. We are investing for retirement. And so you don't base anything on what happens this day or this week or even in one single year. You don't base an investing decision on that. You need something with a much longer track record, and let's look at the S&P 500. And of course, the year is fine, 13.16% over the past year, and that's what you want every year. You want at least a 10%. Of course, this is an index fund, and there are managed funds that make more than this, and that's why Mr. Ramsey advises that. Now, this is just easier because you can just say, I'll just do the S&P 500 and I'll get this, and I won't have to do anything else. So it's worth the effort, though, to instead investigate this stuff and say, this is the 1 year, this is 13.18%. And so if you compare that to the NASDAQ year, look, 1992, that's 6 other percent that you don't get just because you were dumb and just doing the S&P 500 index fund. Even if you were just only going to do index funds. And to look at the NASDAQ numbers and put an equal amount in that, maybe, or whatever balance, whatever ratio you want to between the two, maybe you do that and make some more money instead of just being, oh, it's S&P 500. But of course, your managed funds can make more than the S&P 500 index fund and more than the NASDAQ index as well. And so that's why Dave recommends the managed funds. Now, they don't jump right out at you, and they're not in every financial bro advice where it just says, oh, do that, do the S&P 500. I mean, of course, not the investing professionals. They don't tell you S&P 500. They actually would look for you for something else, but generally, a lot of those people are scum as well, and they're giving you whatever they get kickbacks on. Or it could be whatever plan is easiest for them that they have other 100 million people in as well. Any investing of like 401k at work, anything like that through work. Generally, the brokerage is just going to try to throw you into a target date fund, which that does not. Again, that doesn't even make as much as the S&P 500 does most times because it includes bonds and other dumb crap in it. So you have to look at that as far as investing, and that's why a lot of times your Roth IRA, your personal uh, retirement account, is better to max out first before the 401k because of that reason, because you can control exactly the investments in it and you're not limited to some dumb target date. Okay, well that's good. S&P 500 turning positive. Something interesting must have happened, maybe, or people just decided that the market got too low, and so now you have greenery here, except for the Dow. Alrighty. So, but we don't worry about it. We don't worry about just the week, because of oh, hey, look at that. Look at that. Every single time it's crashed and people said the sky was falling, even during the pandy, always can tell the pandy because it's this right here in 2020. Um, Even that one, look, back up to a new high within 8 months, I think. I think it was 8 months. August, always up to check. I think it's 8. February to September. Do you remember the 25th day of September? So yeah, so 8 months, 7, 8 months, something like that, and it's back to a new high. So it always comes back and goes to a new high. If it ever fails to do that, then America must be having more problems than your retirement account. You got more problems to deal with. And so if it doesn't go back up, that's the end of America, basically. So you would have more problems to deal with other than just your retirement account. Yeah, nobody's saying that it's impervious. I mean, people thought Rome wouldn't fall either. Guess what happened? Fell. Um, what do we want to look at? The Home Depot reports on the 18th. That's next week. What do we got happening on the? I don't think I need to reload it. I will, just in case. Okay, so we got some greenery here in the most followed single stocks on the Google. Down still is Alphabet, which owns the Google and the YouTube, and Meta. Otherwise, these top 6 stocks are all up. Intel down though. See what if there's fun articles. Let's see in the news here. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon to retire in January. Okay. I don't think that's a problem. Fewer burritos, more bargains. Consumer, excuse me, flash holiday warning signs. They're buying fewer burritos, like because Chipotle is their business is going down. Supposedly, some places, not my local Chipotle, but some places are like getting skimpy on the amount of food that's in the bowl. I had one 2 weeks ago and it was as full as ever. Kennedy walks a tightrope on Trump deal for obesity drugs. Alrighty. And of course, what happens in your house, way more important than what happens in the White House. Standard Dave Ramsey quote. IRS reveals updated retirement contribution limits for 2026. Is it going up? Let's see. This is from Fox Business. Oh, of course. So what we will do is cheat and say 2026 contribution limits. Increase to 24,500 up from 23,500. So it's up 1,000. So great. And IRA is went up 500 from 7,500 from 7,000, and so of course for olds like me that would be 8,500 now, probably. Don't know that for sure, but we'll check on that. So, but that's probably the case. Because you don't want to not raise it for the olds and raise it for the youngs. That would not be fair, would it? Burry, I don't know who that is. Depreciation guy, gripe, excuse me, shines spotlight on big tech profit. JP Morgan Chase fight with fintech firms over, or fintech, I guess, because financial technical firms over fees to access consumer data. Well, oh, it wins fight. Okay. All right. Well, JP Morgan Chase does have a lot of power. They're a bank, a big bank, and so probably the fintech firms that are talking about are not as big as a company, and so then sometimes that kind of thing is going to happen. And now when they say it's a fight, it's between two businesses, so why don't we just call that a negotiation? And of course the bank is going to win. Boss reveals she fired 2 employees after discovering they cheated on their partners. Alrighty. And hey, guess what? Could have a morality clause in the agreement that they signed when they came on board, and they would have been told about that, or at the very least they would have been able to read it before they signed it. And that is the same type of thing they have going on at Ramsey Solutions. You have to agree to their code of conduct. And it does include such things as this, such personal things as this. But guess what? He owns the business. He's allowed to do that. And then people are surprised when they violate that and they get fired. What do you think was going to happen? And besides, I believe Tennessee, where they're located, is an at-will work state, and that means you can be fired for any reason at any time. You can also quit for any reason at any time. U.S. Supreme Court, that's from cleveland.com, that's in OA. U.S. Supreme Court pulls the plug on First Energy's $400 million money grab. Okay, I don't know what that is. I don't have First Energy. That may be a Cleveland only thing, maybe. I don't know. It could be anywhere, though. They could be based anywhere, because cleveland.com probably covers other things other than just Cleveland news. What we got? NVIDIA up 1.24, and that would be your 7th if there was going to be 7 of those up here. But for some reason, they're called the Magnificent 7, and for some reason, this Google list on the Google Finance page leaves that out. Anything else exciting? Tesla, we already saw. I bet. All right. That looks like about it. And so that will do it for the financial news for this week as we're going into the weekend now. Let's answer some questions, shall we? Don't know how to start. Mediocre bunch. Right. I'm going to read these. We switch. Mediocre bunch 852. Don't know. Switch to no glasses. Can see it better. Don't know how to start. Edit. Okay. I'm in my late 50s, have no retirement plan, and I was a single mom for years with no help. I do have some savings, one house, no mortgage. Excellent. And a second home that I'm trying to rent out for the income and excuse me, and mortgage to be covered. Yeah, got a great idea. Stop trying to do everything all at the same time. Do you want to have a guaranteed retirement savings, or do you want to try to start this business and have it just covering? If it just covers the mortgage, then you're not gaining anything except a little bit of equity at the time. And so I'm not gonna in late 50s, that's not when I'm gonna suggest that you start doing dumb crap like being a landlord. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And of course, any business stuff you don't do a loan on it, so you would not have a mortgage on it, so you can't do this under the. This is going to be a NAR if Dave Ramsey was Australian. To be covered. The mortgage I do have is at 3% rate. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The percentage rates don't matter. You should not have that mortgage. Again, because it's business related and there's no business debt. Mr. Ramsey's the no debt guy, in case you didn't know that. I am self-employed. I do not have a car payment. Excellent. See, that part's excellent. And the owning your own house is excellent too, but you're screwing it up by debt leveraging. And so you can have this landlord business. Both parents have passed. It's been about 3 years now. My understanding is the capital gains will be insane, but I no longer want the responsibility of the building. I hope this further info helps. No longer want the responsibility of the building. What are you talking about? What building? Of your business, or your house that you don't have a mortgage on, or the rental place that you don't have rented yet right now? Guess what? Losing money on it right now. I don't know what responsibility of the building means. I hope this further info helps. If this is worded right so it can be posted, because I'm lost. So I've had a strange relationship with money my whole life. All right. Let's see. Let's try to see what's going on here. So the further info did not help. I guess maybe she'll discuss the building here. Okay, father passed, lost. Okay. Your plan, sanity will be worth it. That being said, I don't know what to do with what's left. Of what? I'm going to inherit proper. Oh, inherit properly due to horrible financial dynamics. I will sell. The capital gains will be so stupidly sad, but my sanity will be worth it. Yeah, see, you're too focused on that crap, and that's why you're trying to be a landlord on top of this. So I don't know. I guess this mortgage and your house that you own outright are separate from this property. And so I guess you mean just the building means that property, not that there's a building project happening. Okay, so that inherited property. All right. So that's the problem when you put the edit at the top of it and you don't fully explain things. So that was the problem there. So we got it. I think now I have stock in a company since I'm 21. It just sits there. You should sell it, and that money should be in managed mutual funds in a retirement account. Doesn't he say you don't have any no retirement plan? So maybe that just means no set plan, or she hasn't been um, putting money in, at least in an IRA, in a consistent basis. Maybe that means that. But 50 years, you still got 20 years in the market. You can work to 70. How about do that? And the way to do that, it would be to not have a mortgage on the rental house. So sell that. Again, Dave Ramsey subreddit, right? You're not on the financial bro. You're not on the TikTok advice subreddit. No, you're on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. He's the no debt guy and no debt leverage guy. So shouldn't be surprised about that. I need whatever I get, whatever it's $500,000 to $2 million. Okay, she doesn't care how much she gets or what the capital gains is on it. Great. Too many to find out family dynamics. Great. Sell it. What's the problem? See, the problem is this person, it doesn't appear, has moved on from that decision. Basically, you make that decision that, okay, I'm going to sell it. Family dynamics are horrible, so I'm just going to sell it so that way I don't have the responsibility of the building and I don't have to deal with the freaking family dynamics, whatever they are. But the problem is you made that decision apparently, but you have not moved on with it. You're still focusing on it. How about you focus on something that's a problem and not already decided? So you already decided you're going to do that, and that is the right thing to do in that situation. But also, for that same reason, you would sell that rental property that you have a mortgage on. Rental property has to be bought only in cash if you're following the Ramsey advice. The stock in the company, yeah, you need to no single stocks is also the advice. So you're doing it wrong. I need a starting point, a referral to someone who is cautious but creative to help me so I don't lose it all. Well, if you don't have any loans or mortgages, you don't owe anybody anything, and then you won't lose it all. I would love to live off interest and say I leave actual money to my children when I pass because I figured it out. Anyone else been in the same boat and found someone reputable to guide them? Probably, and they do offer, it's better than just picking a guy off the internet or out of the phone book, as we used to say in my day when we had a phone book. But it's better than picking it out of the internet. A SmartVestor Pro, which is an investing professional that the Ramsey team has vetted. Unfortunately, sometimes those guys and gals possibly might say everything correctly to the Ramsey team, and then once they get referrals, they go back and do their own dumb stuff, whatever they were doing. That's not the Ramsey advice, even though they know the client was a Ramsey referral. So that does happen. They get every so often get a call about that on the air. Of course, Dave says they shouldn't be doing that, and so I'll put you on. I'll put you on hold, and you can talk to the screener and give the screener the name of that professional. And he said, and I'll take care of it. So that's that. But yeah, basically, you're doing it wrong. A lot of things. And so you just need to follow the Ramsey advice, which in this case would be sell the family dynamic inherited house. sell the property that you don't have rented and that you're losing money on now, and sell that even if you end up not making as much as you think you would like to make on it. Get rid of it as long as you come out. I mean, if you come out even on, like, if you put any improvements into it or whatever, if you should come out even, that would be a blessing because that gets rid of all the debt even. And best case scenario, you have some equity in that and you get some money with that, and then you can invest that as part of retirement. And so you just doing it wrong. You're just all over the place, lady. And understand, late 50s, I'm there too. I'm there too. And so fortunately though, I wised up about not until about 35 or so, unfortunately. So I get a late start with investing, but I am doing it and have been many years now. And so it's not too late. Ordinary 24273, creating budget for the first time. How long did it take you? I think I read this one again. When you uh, sort by new on different days, sometimes it stays in the, like, it's still 10 days ago, but they swap places sometimes. But I think it doesn't matter how long it takes you to do it. You just need to make sure it's comprehensive and includes everything. And I mean, just every category. It doesn't have to include, how much you spend on toilet paper, for example. If you got that kind of time, knock yourself out. And if that'll help you be more frugal, certainly do that. But otherwise, just you can just I just put I'm single, so very, very simple budget. I just have all of that stuff in the grocery category. Anything that I would buy at Walmart, which includes all, like, cleaning products, etc., etc. All that comes under grocery for me. But how long did it take you? As far as what you should be worried about here is if you don't get it right for up to 3 months. Rachel Cruz says give yourself at least 3 months on the budget to get it right, because for a lot of people, if they're doing budget for the first time, like this person, they have no idea what things cost even. People don't pay attention to what things cost. And so they don't know what they're spending, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what you need to worry about, and just looking at the numbers. And a good thing that you can always go by is you can log into your bank account and you can see what you spent at the grocery store last month and the month before that and the month before that. And you can look at the number, and if you don't have a budget, you should probably be saying, oh, that's way too much to be spending at the grocery store. And then you can, next time you're at the grocery store, then maybe you won't buy something. Then maybe you'll look at prices, and maybe you won't buy that $10 piece of food item. That could have been phrased better. Um, you won't buy that $10 piece of food item, and you'll get a $5 one instead, that kind of thing. Let's see, what is it? Fear, anxiety, overwhelm, and avoidance have prevented me from doing it in the past. Well, get over that. You got to get over that. Putting on the big girl pants. Good job. Aged at 35. Yep. Good idea. I was frugal before, some call it cheap, but before the age of 35. But before then, I still had debt and such, though, and that's when I started getting rid of the debt. Trying to be gentle with myself and keep chipping away. At the moment, I'm just taking stock of my monthly expenses. Yeah, well, knowing what your monthly expenses are, that's important because, again, that's what goes in the budget. So if you look at your bank account, then you'll see where you've been spending money at, and then you can decide, oh, I don't need to do that. That's not a need. I don't have to spend that much money. I should have put in the chat the time signature that the audio issues would be rectified, but didn't do that. Maybe I'll put it in the comments below. After. Ba, 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 ba. How long it took to put yours together initially? Again, it shouldn't be a problem if you look after, I would look maybe back to 6 months, because then that's going to bring up in your bank account, that's going to bring up and also dumbass credit card accounts as well. If you've been using those to buy groceries or anything else or pay bills on that, look through that as well, and then you're going to know all your expenses. And by going back 6 months, then you pick up like, for example, auto insurance payments, that kind of thing. That would be like, once every, if you're doing the smart thing and you save, like, I don't know, $5-10 if you pay in advance, instead of paying monthly payments for that, if you pay by 6 months. So, which you might also not be doing, you might be just paying it every month. In that case, it would be really easy to see, but you need to think about all that stuff as well. And so, like, if there's one thing a year that is a monthly charge, what I do in my budget is I take out 1/12 of that every single month. So I have that as a monthly expense, even though it's a once a year thing. But yeah, it doesn't matter how long it takes anybody else. You take it, you do the budget until you have all of your expenses on there. And you cut out as much as you can when you are on baby step 1, 2, and 3. After that, you can start spending some money again. For fun and stuff, and things that you don't 100% need to live. But until then, scorched earth, baby. T-Bone Capone, 19. All right. What debt should we attack next? It's smallest to largest. Don't need to even read this. Because, the problem is your little situation doesn't change baby step 2. It is pay smallest to largest. And so if you're on baby step 2, if you are paying debt, which they are, and so nothing about your little situation affects what you should be doing. It would just be paying off the debt. And then you go smallest to largest. Don't give a crap about interest rate. Doesn't matter. We don't do that. And some financial advisors say to pay off the highest interest first, or the highest amount first. But Mr. Ramsey has figured out that personal finance is more about behavior, and if you pay off the small ones first and get rid of them, and then you can put that payment money as extra to the next debt in line, that tends to keep more people on the plan, because you get more wins earlier rather than paying off a big loan, some kind of big debt that will take much longer. And then people are much more apt to jump off the plan when that happens, when they do it wrong. And they jump off the plan because they're doing the plan wrong. You're doing it wrong. Parashot? Yeah, Parashot. 13. What should I do with the interest on my emergency fund? Any extra money that comes from anywhere should go to whatever baby step you're on. So, 19-man emergency fund of $5,000. High yield savings account. All right. What should I do with the interest that it produces? My first instinct is just leave it, but I don't know if there's a reason not to that I don't know about. Yeah, it is because you're not supposed to have more than 6 months. And so if this is 3 months, like if you're still living at home with mommy and daddy, if it's only 3 months, that's fine. But again, then you don't keep adding to the emergency fund. You don't keep doing that. You go on to the next baby steps, which for you is 4, 5, and 6. Probably don't own a house yet, so wouldn't be pay off the mortgage, so there's no 6. At 19, may not have a child, so step 5. So it's just would be investing at that point after you have the full emergency fund. If this kid, compared to me, this is a kid, um, if this 19-year-old is still living with mommy and daddy and has an emergency fund of $5,000, then you would additionally, in addition to the $5,000, maybe up that, depending on where you live, find out if you have not lived on your own. Find out from mommy and daddy how much electricity and stuff costs. So that way you have some idea of the real world, and then you should save up that much in emergency fund. At least 3 months of those expenses instead of your live at home with mommy and daddy emergency fund. But you would save extra money to move out as well, for a not a down payment. What's that called? What's that called when you give the apartment money? That will be returned. Blanking on the word for that. But anyway, it's not a down payment. It's when you give them money, and they give it back to you when you move out. Deposit. Came up with it. Not today, dementia. Sarah here now. My girl Sarah do be posting a lot on here, and it seems to be anti-Ramsey, at least somewhat. But let's see what this payment is, what this problem is now. She has a lot of problems. Sofa panic. I needed a sofa. Okay, needed a sofa. You did not need a sofa. You could sit your butt on the floor if you had to. Right? The floor works. Not as comfortable for sure, but you did not need a sofa. People overuse the word need a lot. We needed a new car. No, you didn't. You chose to buy a new car. You could have gotten a vehicle without buying a new car, without buying any type of car. Perhaps you didn't need to do, if you just are upgrading from another car that works perfectly fine. So you did not need it. Because you have a baby doesn't mean you need a different vehicle. It was safe enough for you, apparently. So why isn't it safe enough for your baby? My 2 babies were fine in a compact car. Did not change vehicles for the babies. And they are still alive. They're 21 and 29 at the moment. And so they lived. Yours will too. You don't need it. Okay, but what about needing this sofa? Let's see. I bought one in an auction for 100 bloody quid. All right. That's a British pound, love. For the full set. The full sofa set. So 100 pounds though, that's not that bad, but it depends on what baby step you're on. If you're on baby step 2, you sit on the floor, or you buy something cheaper than that even. Yard sales, perhaps. I didn't realize delivery was 500 bloody English quid pounds. Yeah, well, see, that's why you gotta be smarter than that. And see, if you don't go to the mindset of, oh, I need a sofa, you don't get into this kind of thing. But all you were thinking about is sitting your butt on the sofa. So let's see. I don't get paid that till Friday. Should I just pay the sofa for the sofa and not collect or deliver it, and the auction can resell, or just pay for it all? I'm on my last 1,000 quid. I have 6,000 coming in on Friday. My payment was delayed. Cost of new sofa set is $1,300. Nobody said to buy a new sofa set. Why would you even go there? This person, again, frequent poster, not new to the Ramsey advice, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. Sarah is kind of nutty, it seems. So how do you buy it at an auction and then just assume that the delivery is going to be X amount? Why would you not look into that? See, that's your own short-sightedness, and you didn't need a sofa, but you do need to be smarter in cases like this. So, and why even bring up the cost of a new sofa set? Why bring that up? Doesn't matter, because you weren't going to buy one. Because you're in early baby steps. You don't have the full emergency fund, it sounds like. This wouldn't be an emergency anyway. Sitting down is not an emergency. Deposit. Thank you, Tommy. Yep, you were correct. I came up with it, though, before I saw you type that. Let's see. Over alfalfa. All right. What's wrong with alfalfa? Transition from maximalist to minimalist. Well, first of all, why do you have to be an extreme in either way? Why go extreme? The minimalist, that fits very well with the first three baby steps 1, 2, and 3. That fits in very well with that. But I don't know why you want to jump from the extreme of one to the extreme of the other. I'm pretty much on baby step 7, okay? Net worth is $5 million, but I want to downsize everything, okay? You can do whatever you want in baby step 7, except go down to a lower baby step. Tired of consumerism, and I want to be a minimalist. Okay, great, do it. What's the problem? I don't see what the problem would be. I'm thinking about moving from my upper middle class neighborhood to a working class, middle class neighborhood. Okay, having 3 things per each room and keep expenses super low. Anyone do this, or am I crazy? No, you're not crazy. Also, see, the problem is you might not like it after living high on the hog for so long. You might not like being a minimalist. So I would like pare things down slowly. So if you're in step 7, you have a house already, and of course you can sell it, but it's not going to be the smaller house. I guess could be just as nice, but just smaller. But maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe it would be worse, and maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe if you don't have to do that, if you're fine financially, why would you do that with a net worth of $5 million? So what I would ask the person says baby step 7, so that means no debt at all. So I would think you're in good shape and can afford to keep that house. I mean, you can still downsize other things, but that would be up to you. This is up to you. Has anyone ever? I haven't done anything like that though, other than the initial transition to using credit to get stuff and maybe getting a little bit nicer stuff that instead of not as nice stuff, but that still does the job. I just had to do the shift from that, and that wasn't hard at all. Why doesn't Dave recommend VA loans when they don't require PMI? Well, they do require, there is some kind of fee that they charge you that is similar. Funding fee or something like that. Also what was the other things? Some lenders won't, or some realtors, some people that are selling houses don't deal with VA loans because that's an extra headache for them. And there was one other thing. What would it be? Oh, because they allow no down payment, and so you don't have any skin in the game at that point. And so If you can't put a down payment down, then Dave doesn't want you buying a house. So those would be the three reasons that he says that. It doesn't matter that they don't use PMI. Again, they have that other fund or something, or fee or whatever it is. Over alfalfa again. Quiet wealth is better than the Kardashian lifestyle. Okay. All right. That's enough. I don't need to read your life story. Congratulations on your quiet wealth. That's great. Shinek and Troopser. All right. How does Dave Ramsey's philosophy work if you live in California and can barely afford rice and beans? If you can barely afford rice and beans, then how are you living in California? If you're living in California, racking up debt in order to stay in California, you can't live in California unless you get a higher paying job. That's how it works. See, the philosophy doesn't change. You are the one that has to change. You have to change your situation. The advice doesn't change for your dumbass just because you live in Taxifornia. So, let's see if there's anything else interesting on here. My friend is a single mother with 2 teens whose father left the country and isn't paying a dime. Okay, so it's not for this person. It's for a friend. She makes $70K a year, which might be 40 or 50K, like in America, in the Midwest, that kind of thing. And is therefore considered low income, indeed, yet not very low income, 50%. AMI, I don't know what that means. Oh, adjusted something. Mean income. For a 3-person household in this country. Therefore, she gets no aid. Okay, well, your life shouldn't be based on getting aid either. Monthly paycheck is about $4,300 if she can't afford it. Rent is $3,500, so that's not going to cut it. She has to make more money or move to a cheaper place. That's simple as that. There's no getting around that. So, and having 2 kids, single mom, I don't know how feasible second job is. Hopefully working full time already. Sounds like maybe. But yeah, I mean, that's 75% of your paycheck is going to the rent. So that's a no. That's a move. Sorry. Make more money or move. There's no magic button to fix things. You are limited by the income that you make as far as the Ramsey advice is concerned. And the cost of living around you. And choosing to stay in California in this situation is very, very dumb. I understand you got family there. What can you do? What are you going to do? What's the alternative? You tell me. You're asking what this person's asking, how does it work? It still works. You just can't live in California. So it doesn't work in California unless you can make more and live more cheaply. Like it's that, one or the other, or in best case scenarios, both. So, but if you can't do that, then California is your problem, not the Dave Ramsey philosophy. Dave Ramsey philosophy works great. Determined but motivated, you mean? Unmotive is a different word than unmotivated. Buying a new car, that's no, unless you have $1 million net worth. Also, everything combined that has a motor and wheels on it, or a motor and engine in it, anything that has an engine in it, I guess, combined, all that can only be, the guideline is 50% of your annual salary. So that's going to be a no. Hello, opinion on buying a used 2023 Tesla. That's not new to him. Some people do say a new car, even they mean new to them. Model is spelled with an E, not an A. Model 3 for around 27 to 31K. So if it's 31K, you have to be making at least 62K if that's your only car. No rent or mortgages anymore. That would help. No major bills besides, so you be paying in cash, right? 7 for school, that'll end next November. Car right now, transmission has given signs of transmission messing up. Okay, well, I wouldn't think the transmission has given signs of the windshield wipers messing up. And the mechanics have said 4 to 8K for a rebuild if it does go bad completely. Only spent 17 on car brand new. All right, shouldn't have bought that one brand new either. You don't buy a brand new car unless you're a millionaire, because that's the only way you can afford the depreciation on it. It depreciates too much. I have an option of getting a 1.25 interest rate loan. No loans for again. Do you know where you're at, Dave Ramsey? I mean, but people, I shouldn't be surprised. I'm always surprised, but I shouldn't be, because people call up the Ramsey show and ask if they should take a loan. If you are familiar with Dave Ramsey at all, other than this is your first day discovering him, if you've read about him after putting in "how do I get out of debt" or something like that, it would probably say, it would give you the AI overview if you're using Google Chrome, and it probably says he's the no debt guy. Not in those words, but it would probably say that. And so it said also no debt leverage. It would say that there. And so then why would you waste time calling if you're not willing to be a no debt person as well? And no debt leverage. So, and the reason is, even if people read that, because again, they think their little situation is going to get a pass for doing dumb crap that is against the advice. The advice is the advice for a reason, because it's not dumb, and what you're doing is dumb as crap. But people think they're an exception, of course. So no loan. What do you need a loan for? If the car is fine, other than the transmission, get the transmission fixed. Put 8K. If you don't want to put 8K in that, buy a used car for 8K. See, and again, any thoughts? Why Tesla? Yeah, good question. Good question. Why Tesla? Just because I like the features it offers, I don't care. Don't want something older, otherwise don't think I'd be happy with the purchase. I don't give a crap if you're happy. I give a crap if you get from point A to point B. See, you are being nutty there. I won't be happy if it's something older than I already have. It doesn't matter. That's what people are so nutty there. I understand liking cars. Sure, I like computers. Do I have the best one at this moment? No, because they get older. A month later, there's a faster video card and a faster processor and stuff like that. Does that make me upgrade any faster than I do, which is maybe once every 3 or 4 years, maybe? Does that, some people, I'm sure, upgrade every year. And so I don't do that. And when I do, I don't get a 1.25 interest rate loan. I buy it in cash. So you're doing it wrong. You're thinking about it wrong. Let's see. Let's bring up the old calculator that you guys can't see. Where were we? I want to do 31 times, we'll assume 40 hours times 52 equals 31,000? That can't be right, is it? 31 an hour times 40, and that's 12,040 a week times 52 equals There we go. 64,000. Must have hit a wrong button. 64,480. So that means you can have a $32,000 car. So you just put in there if you would have to sell your other one completely as is, of course. So you might not get much for it, but sell that one to keep under it. So you could just barely do it, but you have to pay cash for it. Sorry. No loans. No loans. Again, not the financial bro subreddit. Not the personal finance subreddit. It's the Dave Ramsey subreddit. That is an ad right there where this graph called me out. I'm into it. Every dollar visualized. I don't know if that would be for every dollar. Probably not. Just a thank you. Sarah here now again. Baby girl, come on. And of course, Sarah was Joel's first daughter. Like kind of fell apart. Oh, life. It says like kind of fell apart. Does it mean life or just, or they say like a lot? Sarah might say like a lot. She seems like she could be a like. And are you telling me like, and you know, where they say like every sentence. That's better than saying to be honest every sentence for sure. I'm back at work. Excellent. Just got paid today and we'll pay off a debt today. Great. What do we do about the sofa? I've also saved 1,000 English pounds, bloody quid, for my emergency fund. I'm still terrified, but I appreciate Dave Ramsey and all of your advice and motivation. I can now understand why Dave mentions faith in God, because I could not have gone through by this. Okay? You don't need through and by, but all right, without God. Okay, great. That's a better mindset than Sarah normally has. But again, she seems like she's like all over the place. Because what did we do about the sofa? You're not going to tell me about the sofa? I guess I could check the comments if I really cared. We'll see. We'll see. If I do end up checking it, I will let you know. Give you an update on the next stream or the next Ramsey show. Distinct attempt 107. Am I in baby step 4? Should I be investing 15% or saving money? Am I in baby step 4? Okay, well, it's pretty easy to tell. So if you do not have $1,000 starter emergency fund right now, if you don't have $1,000 in savings, then you're on step 1. If you have any non-mortgage debt, it's credit cards and loans, and that's anything that's debt but not the mortgage, then you're on step 2, not on step 4. So it doesn't matter if you feel like you should be on step 4 just because you want to invest. You're not on there. And steps 1, 2, and 3, you do one at a time in order. But again, one at a time. You do not move ahead before you complete the previous one. And only after you pay off all your non-mortgage debt, only then do you save more than that $1,000. See, people are nutty. They keep adding money to that instead of putting that money on debt. Those people are dumb because it doesn't say to do that anywhere. But you do get on step 3 eventually after you pay off all non-mortgage debt, and then you complete the fully funded emergency fund, which is your choice, 3 to 6 months of your personal expenses. And then once you have that done, only then should you be investing. If you are already investing and you start these baby steps, what you do is stop temporarily investing. So just because you were already investing doesn't mean you're step 4. Once you start the Ramsey advice, you don't start the Ramsey advice on the step that is the highest here of what you're doing. So say you have non-mortgage debt here still, but you are putting extra to the house already. You're not on step 6, you're just doing it wrong. So stop doing it wrong. Let's see. 26 and making $37,000 as a PhD student from my stipend. making 37K from my stipend as a PhD student. Okay. Might wanna work on that English PhD. I will graduate soon and be making 65K next fall. Okay. Guess what? Maybe you will graduate. People always assume that, especially when they take out student loans. Oh, I'll definitely graduate and I'll definitely be making this amount of money that I saw on the internet for this job. I'll definitely be making that much money. And also, I'll like it as well enough to keep doing it. And so any of that could go wrong. So people are nutty, especially kids. 26 though, you got to start being an adult at that point. My boyfriend got a job making doubling it what I make at 23 years old a few months ago. Yep. Neither of us have any debt. Excellent. And our monthly expenses are around 1,500 separately. Okay, yeah, we should not be combining combining finances. We should also not be living together before we get married. So get married. Got a great idea. Get married. Own our own cars, great. 2017 and 2022. So jealous. Mine's a 2005. I'm not jealous enough to get a newer one because there's nothing wrong with mine. It still works. Just doesn't have, doesn't have a screen on the dashboard. And, maybe I'll get one day. But if I don't, that's fine too because I'm still getting place to place without spending any extra money. We are Christians. Congratulations. And also almost at a year of dating. Okay. And would plan to get married within the next 2 years if we decide to do that. We would plan to get married within the next 2 years if we decide. Okay, so if marriage was in the cards, it would happen during the next 2 years. Why? Why is that a thing? Why have we decided that that's a thing? And have you both decided that, or is it like, well, we'll either in 2 years we'll either be married or we'll be broken up. Did you have that conversation? So that's kind of nutty. I am maxing out my Roth IRA, approximately 18% of my income, and he is investing 15%. My question is, if we haven't bought a house, had kids, I always think I'm going to sneeze on this thing, but it goes away. I guess that's good. The next time I'm going to sneeze, I think. Well, there's some people that think if you think you're gonna sneeze, then you probably need to. Your body thinks you need to, and if you're like kind of suppressing it in any way, that's bad for you. Anyway, back to this, the 2 year thing. Oh, and she's invested, maxing out Roth IRA, so they don't have any debt. So I guess it would depend if you have an emergency fund saved now. Oh, it says. Oh no, it says the expenses, but it doesn't say if you have the emergency fund. Emergency comes first before investing, so you should not be doing any investing until you have that emergency fund. The full emergency fund. So 3 to 6 months of your expenses. So you would need $4,500 separately. So you should stop investing while you save that up if you do not have that already. My question is, investing is saving money. Is the same thing, but she means like saving account money, or probably for the baby steps. So if you read the baby steps, you would see that step 3 was the full emergency fund and step 4 was investing. So what is your question? I don't understand. You don't do those at the same time. My question, we haven't bought a house, had kids, or gotten married yet. Should we be investing? Should we be investing the money for retirement? You don't combine your finances. You don't do it like this. Individually, though, you both should follow the baby steps. Let's see. Invest this money for retirement, or at this age, saving our money to buy a house and pay for a wedding. Okay, well, you don't even know that there's going to be a wedding yet, so you don't start saving for a wedding. But again, should have the full emergency fund first. You would do that first. That's your priority. That's actually on the baby steps. Now, doing another thing, like if either you are living with mommy and daddy, probably not. But if you are, you would be saving money to move out. And then after that, it's just your priority for these maybe upcoming expenses. So you get to decide that. Um, so you would be doing retirement, and you need to keep doing that. So you need to cut out other things. And you just getting a stipend, that's rough for trying to do multiple steps at the same time. I heard Dave recommend pausing investments during periods of time where you should be stockpiling money for a specific reason. Right. Yeah, you can do that at any time, but not necessarily just for a wedding or a baby. I mean, for the baby, sure. Once you get pregnant, but you don't. That clock doesn't start until you get pregnant. So you got to be pregnant to do that one. And to buy a house, you can stop investing for up to 3 years to save a larger down payment faster. You can do that. So you get to choose to do that. But again, you must be on at least baby step 3 for that, which is 3B, excuse me, which is not on this list, but that's where it is. 3B for the down payment is right there. But in order to do that, you have to have the full emergency fund first. That's first. So you don't go out of order. You're doing it wrong. So don't do that. Where were we? So, and that would be in emergency situations when you would do that. Otherwise, it's just life where you would be saving money for a down payment and investing at the same time, other than if you want to stop investing for 3 years. For a wedding, I don't think I've ever heard him say for a wedding or like other specific reasons that you would stop doing investing. I don't think I've ever heard him do that other than saving for a down payment or pausing investing while you pause the baby steps entirely and just pile up cash when you are in storm mode, which is just any emergency, or stork mode, which is baby on the way. We both currently have a healthy amount in savings, 30K and 48K in high yield. Okay. Well, 3 to 6 months of your expenses should be in the full emergency fund, and then that's separate, and then the rest of it can be the start of savings for this stuff. But we don't know that we don't even know that we're gonna have a baby yet. We don't know that there's gonna be a wedding yet. So why save up for that until you know? I mean, if you have a good idea, if you really, really think that it's going to happen, I mean, you could, because you could always save it up and you'll be losing out on some gains in the market, but you can always just save that. And if that doesn't happen, then you can throw that lump sum into the market, into your retirement account. So should technically be in baby step 4. Not technically, just overall you are, if you have enough for the problem is you are not calling it a full emergency fund and you don't seem to be aware of it enough to mention it. So, but that determines whether you're on step 4 or not. Whether you've completed the full emergency fund. This level of investing, especially with how low my income is, seems like an oversight in the baby steps. What? How dare you? Because I'm far, far away from from retirement, but have possible impending expenses coming up in the next 2 to 5 years. Okay. Well, it's also, guess what? This stuff of investing, but by the time you get to the investing part, You should be theoretically at a job and not just getting a stipend and still being a PhD student. So that is the problem there. And so it's not an oversight. Again, it's just you thinking something needs to be tailored to your little situation. Um, Technically be in baby step 4. So, but yeah, you can say that you're in baby step 4, and you can also decide to save for a down payment if you want, but you just said you don't know. You said maybe. It's a maybe within the next 2 years. You don't know. Let's see if there's something else. Have possible impending expenses coming up in the next 2 to 5 years. Yeah, you don't delay investing because of such impossible impending expenses. I mean, if it's, for example, and this would be, part of emergency mode as well, if you know you need surgery in 3 months, or even if you don't need surgery, if it's cosmetic and you know what's happening in 3 months, you can start saving for it, but you should also be investing at the same time. I understand it might be difficult to do that now, but you have a head start on it by having your extra savings other than the emergency fund. My boyfriend wants to spend 1 to 2 years living with very cheap rent after we would get married. No problem with that. Maybe you have a problem with it, which would mean renting until age 30 for me. Hey, man. Does it say how old the boyfriend is? Is the boyfriend younger? Maybe he like older women. That's from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Which would mean renting until age 30 for me. I also grew up extremely poor. Okay, oh, the trauma. Poor trauma. Here it comes. Always moving from rental to rental, and now being a student for years. And you're the one that chose that part. Didn't choose being poor, but that happens. Student for years. I've been saving for years to buy a house as soon as I can. If that's your priority, then do that. Again, up to 3 years, you can not invest at all. Also understand he is young and this is all happening very quickly for him. Okay. See, that's the problem. That could be a problem when you have a boyfriend where you're talking about, I understand he is young, and that's you talking like he's a little kid. That's you thinking of him as a little kid, and that doesn't set a good precedent very quickly for him. Yeah. I think we should buy instead, especially with how much no, you don't buy instead. No, no, no. Also, you got to make sure you're going to be in the same area before you buy a house after you graduate. Maybe you'll have to move for the job. Who knows? How much we said, because we could definitely put 20% down. What should I do? You could. Well, you'd have to be married. You said, well, she said after we get married, so that part is good. So that's fine. What's wrong with that? Do that and invest at the same time. Maybe you can't invest as much, but you can invest some. The balance for those 3 years is completely up to you. You can do completely to your upcoming expenses if you want. That's your choice. But the down payment would be a reason to do that. What was the other stuff she was talking about? Oh, to pay for the wedding. That not so much. Stop investing for that, but I mean, you could consider the extra money that you have in savings now could go towards the wedding. You also could just get married at the Justice of the Peace instead, because money's an issue, and then you would have even more money for a down payment. So, but people don't think like that. People want the fairy tale wedding, etc., etc. And so I get that, but that comes at a cost. So what should I do? You need to set your priorities. All right, and I would think about that. I mean, it's just one sentence in here, and said, I also understand he is young, and I could be reading too much into it, but that just doesn't sound good to me. And this is all happening very quickly to him. That means he's not your equal. And if he's not your equal, then you shouldn't be with him probably. But we'll see. And just the whole wishy-washy crap of it will be within the next 2 years if we get married at all. So it's just too much up in the air for me to say commit to something right now. Again, you could just save money and not invest, and then if you don't get married, then later you can decide to invest it. Then, if you don't want to, with the because you don't have a wedding to pay for, so you can put the wedding money into retirement, or use the wedding money for additional down payment if you're going to buy a house by yourself at that point. So that would be the advice. But PhD student needs to think about some stuff here. But yeah, what determines if you're on, not technically on baby step 4, you're on baby step 4 if you have the full emergency fund and you have no debt and non-mortgage debt. And of course, they don't have a mortgage, so they don't have mortgage debt either. Alrighty. Oh, what time is it? All right. Yeah, went a little long today. That's fine. Normally just do an hour. Alrighty. Scroll all the way to the top. I forget to do that sometimes. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, and yes, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me, so I can tell you what you should be thinking about. And problems like that you didn't even know you had, I can maybe find out. I have done that before, where a person wasn't even aware of something. You can schedule that appointment by emailing me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. And we'll work that out. There will be a video conferencing appointment. And we'll work that out. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, Cash App at $CoachSteveMoney. It was not taken. Or Walmart gift card to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, subject to change as always. I know I've been very bad the last 2 weeks about streaming financial stuff. Sorry about that. The Ramsey Show Aftershow show, 11:05 a.m. Eastern, should be able to do Monday through Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, November 17th, 18th, and 19th. Those should happen. And Friday the 20th is a maybe. Not happening Thursday. Also answering your financial questions streams are 8 p.m. Eastern time every Saturday and or Sunday. Could be one, could be the other, could be both days. Who knows? All right. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.